Welcome to 500 years in the future, where the world inexplicably resembles the swinging 1960s, and all conflicts are both caused and solved by dancing. Television still serves as a central conduit for news and entertainment, and the battles for ratings between competing stations, dance battles that is, are fierce and funky. Ooh La La, top reporter for the Swingin Report show on Space Channel 5, has found herself in the middle of a strange alien invasion. A race known as the Morolians are kidnapping hostages and forcing them to groove to the background music. Her job is to rescue the hostages, quell the alien onslaught, and get to the bottom of who's behind this malfeasance by dancing. Rhythm games are an interesting genre that emerged in the mid to late 90s. Although these types of games existed for some time, the marriage of recorded music and twitch reflexes was a dream that could only be realized with the industry's shift to higher forms of data storage, such as the CD-ROM.
To show me if you can get far. Step on the gas.
With this new genre came a bevy of unusual but wonderful titles such as Parappa the Rappa, Dance Dance Revolution, Bust a Groove, Samba de Amigo, and of course, Space Channel 5. That list is by no means all-inclusive, but just the tip of the iceberg. Space Channel 5 was released in Japan in 1999 and North America in 2000 for the Sega Dreamcast. The fashionably colorful graphics set against the jazzy lounge motif makes for a visually interesting game. With Space Channel 5, Sega set out to bring interactivity to elaborate song and dance musicals, particularly Stomp, as well as create a product that will have a broad enough appeal to target both casual and experienced players.
I've entered their base. It's freaky and I'm tripping out.
Here they come.
The game was simple to control, using only the directional pad and 2 buttons. There was plenty of room for error for beginners. However, advancing in the story mode requires a bit more dedication from determined players, as the game certainly can get very tricky.
Up, right, up, shoot, shoot.
It's a unique mashup of 1960s spy movie and an elaborately choreographed musical. The main theme, Mexican Flyer by Ken Woodman and his Piccadilly Brass, wouldn't be out of place in a tale of international espionage. But that's not to say that it doesn't work wonderfully here in this tongue-in-cheek homage to retro-futuristic science fiction, because it most certainly does. Meanwhile, the appearance of Ooh La La herself appears to resemble that of Lady Miss Keir from early 90s retro dance pop group Delight. That's not one of my weird pop culture references. Lady Miss Keir, real name Kieran Kirby, did actually sue Sega for what she alleges was a misappropriation of her image. However, the courts sided with Sega in this dispute, a decision that was further upheld in an appeal. Kirby was ordered to pay Sega over $600,000 for their legal expenses.
Let's dance!
Along her dance venture, Ooh La La must engage in a little back-and-forth game of Simon Says. If they say up, you press up when it's your turn, and so forth. It gets tricky as you must stay more or less in rhythm.
It's Space Channel 5 again. Take this. Up, shoot, 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 right.
Along with her hypnotic hip shaking, Ooh La La has 2 ray guns by her side, one to fire upon the aliens and the other one to liberate any hostages, although you can only use them when they're part of the command stream given to you by your opponent. Make too many mistakes and the music will go down to a sad key with Ooh La La and company marching dejectedly.
Now go to the observation platform.
Roger.
The cast of characters in the game, both supporting players and background citizens, are anything but bland. The rivalry reporters, such as Puddin' and Jaguar, add a bit of hamminess to the story, which fits the game's style quite well, and the various hostages are worth saving just to see what kind of musical flourish they could add to the game's soundtrack. Of course, there's also Michael Jackson.
Kick, woo! Up, right, shoot, shoot, woo!
Jackson's inclusion in the original game was somewhat of an afterthought. He's always been good friends with Sega, lending his songs, moves, and likeness to 2 separate video games based on Moonwalker, one for the Sega Genesis and one for the arcade. Michael was shown a version of Space Channel 5 that was only about 70% complete. He liked it so much, he wanted to be included. There was only time to make him a drop-in character, replacing another hostage that must be saved, but it worked well all the same.
Swingin Report Show!
Space Channel 5 Part 2 was released in Japan in 2002 for the Sega Dreamcast, and also Sony's PlayStation 2, as Sega by this point moved to a strictly third-party role. America would not see the sequel until 2003 as part of a special edition release for the PlayStation 2 that included both games.
Left, two, right, two, up, hey, hey!
Left, feet, right, feet, up, hey, hey!
The sequel's story picks up where the last one left off, this time fending off an invasion from a group known as the Rhythm Rogues and its mysterious leader. While it appears to be more of the same, gameplay-wise, Sega took the time to add a little more complexity to the mechanics, such as lyrics that mess with your timing
Ready for this one? Up, two, go, go,
and various instrument battles.
Choo, choo, choo. Choo, choo, choo.
This time, Space Michael Jackson has a more prominent role as the new head of the titular network. Graphically, the backgrounds are more fluid as it's rendered in real time, whereas the original game's backgrounds were pre-rendered. Space Channel 5 and its sequel are both wonderfully silly. Onlookers may be shaking their head in disbelief, but they'll be laughing and tapping their toes at the same time. It's so goofy that you can't help but have fun, even if the gameplay is extremely simplistic. Both games are short, they'll be completed in a few hours each, but there is an expanded story you can play after beating it once, with stricter timing and alternate paths. But replayability is not too much of an issue for me. It's fun to go through the game over and over again to hear the wonderfully retro-tastic, upbeat lounge music and the far-out trippy visuals that accompany them. This game might not be for everyone. If you don't have an appreciation for the sights and sounds of the groovy 60s, or are put off by the titles that elevate style over gameplay, you probably will not enjoy this. But for those that have an open mind, a modicum of rhythm, and an appreciation for those swinging jazz anthems, I guarantee that you'll love every minute of these games. This was Dave for Game Break. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.
Space Channel 5!
You are the coolest!
Now everyone, let's march to the end of the galaxy.